Welcome back, everybody, for another episode of the Fix My Fees podcast. I'm your host, Tavius Washington, and this podcast is all about taking a boring subject like merchant processing and bringing interesting people on to talk about them instead. And so we have today with us Rebecca Mariolis-Baker. How you doing, Rebecca?
I'm great, thank you. Thank you for having me, Tavius. And quite frankly, for business owners and entrepreneurs, merchant fees are not boring. Just wanted to
I hope so. I hope people would love to talk about it more and more. But when I started to look into, doing this podcast with you, I saw that you had been in the business for 20 years. You had worked at like big companies like CVS, Target, Walmart. But the one that kind of stuck out to me the most was Groupon. I don't know why. I love Groupon. I don't care what anyone says. There's always great ways to save money. That's why I'm in the merchant business. But how do you go from being someone who's just kind of going through life, I don't know what happened before, to being able to help the health and wellness section of someone like Groupon doing tens of millions a year, and then also helping the other sides of like Target, CVS, and Walmart and those things? How does that even come about?
Honestly, I don't want to say I stumbled into it because I certainly worked hard to get there. I, believe it or not, started as a cosmetologist. I was a hairstylist. At my very first big girl job was, and I call it big girl because it's what it felt like, was to work for a national hair care brand. And it really just, set my career on fire. From there, I grew into not only just educating salons about products, but then it became sales. So I was educating and selling. And then it grew national, where I had big accounts. And then I grew the business to be global. And then coming back to national and working with national chains and servicing the different direct to consumer, the Walmart, the CVS, the Walgreens, all fun to work with. Costco. I mean, who doesn't love Costco? I love Costco. Um, Honestly, but the core of like health and wellness for me has started when I was really young. I have always enjoyed fitness, but I found it as a way to, and wellness, and as a way to sort of control depression. And so it became very central to me to make sure that I was always aware and cautious of, am I working out enough? Am I eating right? Am I doing the things? Now, not to say that like I live this perfect healthy life, because I certainly don't, but I'm very aware, conscious for myself. And I think there's just a lot of opportunities for others to be able to do so. So it sort of spilled over into my work, which then put me into health, beauty, and wellness. And it's easy to talk about when you are a part of it. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like I
yeah.
had a conversation with somebody and I was like, well, yeah, I could talk about these. You want to talk about fitness? Let's talk about it all day. You want to talk about wellness? Listen to the new thing I found out. I am voracious for learning all about the human body, how things interact, how your body responds, and to everything, whether it be alcohol or matcha or water or, a hydration drink. Like I just really enjoy it. So it does make it all very easy. And then because of that, I built relationships in the beauty industry, the wellness industry, and it led me to Groupon, which I also adore. So a lot of people still don't know about Groupon, but I'm going to give them a plug because listen, you can get some great things on Groupon. So anyway, that's how it all began.
That is awesome. And so what were like I guess your daily activities when was it the same things you were doing in Groupon as the others, or did it morph into different things as time went on? Like what were your normal day-to-day activities?
They were, I will say this, they were similar in the methodology of like how I support accounts, how I follow up with accounts, how I present myself to accounts and support them in whatever way they're looking for. The difference with Groupon, which I really enjoyed, is it was a crossover in technology. And I am going to spill my age. I'm a child of the 80s. My parents were original IBM employees. The tech world like allowed me to live, right? So I loved the combination of beauty and wellness into technology.
Yeah.
So with the other brands, the difference was it was a lot of conversation. It was very personal because the beauty, wellness, health industries are very relational, and they still are at the technology side. But what's really cool is that you get to fuse fuse in technology that makes things a little bit easier. So, for example, the day to day at Groupon is all technology based and understanding all of the data, which I fell in love with data early in my 20s because it tells you what to do. And I love being able to understand, okay, this is where I got to go next because the data says so, not because my gut says so. The data says so, and it shouldn't lead you astray because the numbers don't lie, right?
Right.
So with Groupon, it was really cool because I had all the information necessary to be able to go out and target the right type of business that was being searched, that was top rated, and be able to connect with my friends who also were in the industry to bring them in to put things on the platform. And so
That
that was sort of like my day to day with them. And I had a great team I worked with as well that really supported the business. So it would be a lot of technology check-in, conversations and meetings with both my accounts and the team.
got it. Woo. It sounds complex. What are you up to now? Like you were kind of what are you up to on your day to days and now, and what are you working?
So my day to day actually is a lot harder because my husband and I, when I left Groupon, decided to create our own company.
Mhm.
So I co-founded a federally legal THC company, and we have 5 products, 3 gummies, a tincture, and a balm for the body. And really, it was born out of, you know, after my third baby, which surprise, surprise, she came at age 42. I couldn't, my body wasn't allowing me to do the things that I love to do. Like my vodka sodas, they had to go.
Mhm.
My late night party nights, they had to go.
Mhm.
But there was still a little something that I wanted, just a little something, nothing crazy. And I was introduced by a friend of mine to the 2018 Farm Bill and how it allows for cannabis to be legal as long as it's derived from hemp, which is a total loophole because could talk about that forever. It's fascinating to me. And we found a really great chemist, Alicia. We love you. She really helped us to formulate and target the right formulations because what was important to us was creating a product that not only performed, but honored your body. So no synthetics, no preservatives. Everything that's in our product is all natural and organic. So they're really high performing products and they're, microdosing THC, which is wonderful. So my day to day now is again building that brand, solidifying account growth as well as web with the marketing and the background. I think I had shared with you previously. We went from having a team of 5 who are still apart and connected in some way, but really my husband and I took it back and really drove to know the intimate details of every angle of our business. And we decided in that we were going to be early adapters to AI. And now, like, I think there's a lot of fear surrounding that for entrepreneurs, even for major corporations. Like, my mind is blown how major corporations aren't necessarily implementing it as quickly because, there's fear, job loss, whatever. We experienced something quite beautiful where I tell everybody AI is like the smartest employee I've ever hired. And it has all these great ideas. They're young, they're excited, and I want to let them go. But we still have to check in and be like, whoa, slow down, sis. Let me give you the history. Let me give you the guidance. And from there, it's worked really, really well to support our business. My day to day is a lot of still technology check-ins with my tech team, my agents that were created by Claude Code. And it's a little bit different. The hands-on portion is like the things I got to do, like the pop-ups, throwing stuff in the back of the car, all that fun stuff. So
Right.
yeah, it's a lot happening for sure.
Well, you're kind of in a realm where you end up dealing with something that a lot of business owners, especially ones that come to watch the show and in the spaces they're in, which is stigmas, right? Whether it's a digital marketing agency and the stigmas that come with that, a lawyer that I've had on and the stigmas that come with that, right? Salespeople all over. We're dealing with different stigmas, but yours kind of doubles down because it's an entrepreneur, right? And there's stigmas behind that already to begin with. And then on top of it
Mhm.
being in THC, where it's been dogged down for years. And then now it's one of the most profitable industries in America. How have you dealt with that from time till now? where those stigmas and, me being an advocate, that's why I told you I would love to have you on. I'm an advocate for it too, because it's so much better, even from a medical standpoint, than the pills they shove down our throats. But how do you
Yeah.
deal with that? Knowing that those stigmas are there, but what you're doing still helps people.
Well, I'll tell you, it's interesting that you present that because when I have this conversation as a mom, for the second time over, I mean, I have two teenagers. One's about to go to college, which is mind blowing having a toddler and a teenager. But I'm going to brace it this way because I frame it this way because I think it's important people know that like I when you're a mom and maybe even a father too, or a parental type, whatever, you're always looking for the kids' parents who you can roll with, right? Because you have to roll with somebody.
Uh-huh.
And when I was earlier and younger in my days, I tried really hard and I really wanted my kids to be a part of whatever. And now I just straight up am like, listen, you want to roll with me? I smoke weed. I sell weed. I, this is who I am, and there should not be stigma around it. And I think what was interesting early in my career, because I'm sort of the crossover between the old school and the new school. And
Yeah, same.
so a lot of my mentors were brutal. They were brutal.
Yep.
But then it was totally cool to like do a bump in the bathroom, come back out to the trade show floor, smoke cigarettes. But God forbid I walked in smelling like weed, which was, fine. And listen, not to say that
Taboo.
all those, no judgment to anybody, but I think that I'm just very upfront about it, like I'm not taking bong hits on the couch, right? Like I'm not like bong rips just like one after the other, like in college, which I actually didn't do in college because I was also an entrepreneur then. Uh, it is for me, it is about being an adult, making an adult choice with something that is actually going to work with my body. So it's an easy conversation for me to break that stigma. Interestingly, the judgment hasn't been a hard thing for me to navigate because what I'm finding is the old school are tired of being shoved pills down their throat.
Yep.
My and I can say this, my mother-in-law included, she quit drinking, quit all the things, and she exclusively moved to cannabis. And it has been so vital for her and her life, and everybody's life around us. And it just makes it easier to have the conversation. It's sort of like, like my dad would say, tell me your friends, I'm going to tell you who you are.
Yeah. Mhm.
Making and navigating the right choices to have the easy discussions. But when I'm met with any judgment, typically it's about like, whoa, those are a lot stronger than 5 milligrams, you know? um,
Yeah.
but it's pretty much an easy conversation. I haven't had maybe a handful of times where people place judgment. And when I do have those conversations, I say the same thing I just did about what was acceptable for working professionals in the workplace environment, like in comparison to something that perhaps with somebody with ADHD can give them the focus and the ability to execute in a better function. Come on, there's no conversation. And there's data to support, but
Yeah. Yeah. And that's how it is. Science will always push everything away until it's profitable enough to be able to come forward. And that's why we're in this kind of cycle. Cause I mean, I'll even say it, even of my own self, that I used to be a big drinker and I was one of those functioning drinkers. I could drink every day, but
right.
it never affected work. And when the slow change from that and giving it up to the weed, what it did for me was everything else had more flavors. Everything else,
Yeah.
I literally moved from sweets to fruits. Fruits became way better. Now I eat fruits
Yeah.
exclusively over snacks and ice cream and cakes, and stuff like that. And I could literally see, which I did. Like I said, I didn't have a problem in my mind. I didn't have a problem.
In your mind, yeah.
Right. But the moment it changed, like my skin got better. I've reversed age and I went from people thinking I was the exact age I was or a little bit older to now
Yeah.
people thinking I'm in my early 20s and I'm an 80s baby too. You know what I mean? I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, tell me
You're
I'm a,
right. Okay, you're right.
yeah,
You're right. 30 something. Yeah, no, I mean,
but drinking alcohol every day, 4 hours after you get off work, beer after beer, liquor after liquor, that was acceptable. If I went to the bar every day after work as a car salesman, it was acceptable. but doing that one thing that literally de-aged me was
Mhm.
taboo. So I definitely understand that. So when it comes to your products, then what is your goal behind it? What are you wanting to get from it, like from each individual product, just so I can kind of see what you're working with?
Well, I'll start generally. It's to destigmatize the use of cannabis because we really don't know how it affects everybody, right? Like, oh, some people will say, oh, you're a stoner. You just get stoned all the time, but you really don't know. I know people who smoke every single day or take our gummies every single day. And for them, it is exactly what their brain needed to connect the dots to be able to make things happen, or for them to overcome social fear, anxiety, which, for example, my husband didn't know he had. I mean, he was a D1 athlete. This dude had the world at his feet, but he did struggle with social anxiety and he didn't realize it until as we began creating our company. The products were very intentional. We wanted to create one for focus, for chill, and for sleep because the thought is throughout the day, having the ability to lock in and execute is very important. And especially as we were building our AI agents within the company, and then we had to do a lot of background HTML code. I mean, and there was a lot to it. And so, we wanted to make something that was going to be for focus, which is sort of like our daytime. Then we have our chill, which is like a glass of wine. And then we have our sleep, which honestly, you take the sleep, you need to be in your jammies because you're going to bed.
I need that for planes. I can never sleep on planes.
You're gonna need some time because we have recorded 7 hours of REM on our sleep. So if you're going internationally, by all means, but it's not
Yep.
a quick one and done. The other goal, with our drops of joy, which is our elixir, what's really cool. It's a sublingual, so underneath the tongue. And everybody was telling me because it's 3 milligrams, they're like, yeah, I'm not feeling it, not feeling it. And I'm like, okay, do the normal daily things annoy you when you take this?
Mm.
Like little things, right? Like, okay, parallel parking in front of my house. I We would sit out there with cards, my husband and I sit out there with cards. And it's horrible. And sometimes it gets annoying. I'm like, really? You're gonna leave this much? And like little things like that. I'm like, okay, you're not from here. Where are you from? Country? And then we have to look at the license plate because it's fun. Um, or even sitting in traffic, like these little things don't bother people anymore. So, and then our balm that we made was actually, really for me, because of all the fitness and fun activities that I love to do, and I also exclusively wear 4-inch heels, my back, things get seized up, and we harness the goodness of plant medicine of the plant to be able to help with inflammation, pains, aches, and it just sort of like makes everything feel better. But you don't get stoned out with the non-psychotropic. So the
Mhm.
goal is to destigmatize. And listen, it may not be for everybody, and we know that. Other people who want to get totally stoned, we're not that brand. We are a brand that's focused on providing something that can just help life be a little bit better. And that's simply who we are.
Yeah, I think that's why it's good to bring diverse backgrounds and groups and niches of people onto these, because not everything is for everyone, right? Even if I bring someone on here who gives amazing advice on Facebook ads, that's not for everybody. Sometimes you just have to start with organic, free methods, right? It is everyone's in different places, so whether it's business or life, latch on. But while we're there, you could also do more research. So for something that like would have pulled to me and I think would pull to a lot of people as you talking about the focus. We deal with a lot of creatives who are hard with staying organized, a lot of creatives in entrepreneurship who are hard at actually doing the thing. They can think. And AI has helped them a lot because they can talk to it. I talk to my AI bot like it's a person all the time. And I had this,
Yeah.
like, it got too real. I was like, dude, okay, can you go back to sounding like a robot? You're sounding like my best friend now, right? You're bantering
Yeah.
back and forth. We're arguing, right?
Oh, yeah.
So
Oh, yeah.
but the focus part is really important. And even me, I do suffer from ADHD and I always try something. I have heard of people doing microdosing for mushrooms. I've had obviously people do things like Adderall and different things like
Oh, yeah.
that. But when it comes to focus, how does this help? What does that look like on, I guess, a daily basis? If somebody's leaning in like, hey, I'm dealing with this, and I genuinely believe like my focus is the difference between me being at this in my business and here in my business. If I can lock in for even 2 hours more a day, how much more dramatic can I grow my business? How does this help that kind of person who maybe looking in like, I don't know.
Yeah. So listen, huge fan of the Adderall. Huge. Also something that had to go once I had my baby at 42. We sat with our chemist and I was very real with her, just as I've been real, here. I can't hide who I am. I love to do all the things. I love to used to do all the things. And now, and now it's finding things that are going to act in the same way, but not give me the hard crash. So for example,
Yes.
Adderall is magical. I would take this at trade shows and I would be boom, boom, boom. And then all of a sudden 5 p.m. would hit and I would crash and
Mm,
then have to go to the bar and entertain and do all of the things. And it was awful. So when we created Focus, it's your Focus, we included an amino acid called L-tyrosine, and L-tyrosine is an amino acid that helps to awaken, in simplified terms, I'm so sure somebody will correct me, but awaken brain receptors to allow for you to have hyper focus on tasks and activities. Now, because of the L-tyrosine, sometimes people feel like it's a little strong, especially for people who don't have AD, but we have customers that use it on a daily basis and have made decisions about how they're going to supplement it with maybe their medication or whatever. But it is and not that it's, I'm definitely not a doctor. I'm not saying it's a replacement, but it's something that tends to work really well to help focus and lock in on your activities. And it gives you energy without the crash. And I think that's the most important part is I never wanted to experience a crash. In testing
mhm.
all of the products that I have to be able to create the formulas we have, drinks, everything, the THC, all of it, I always looked, and I want to share this, I always looked for the products. If they gave me a crash, I wanted nothing to do with those sort of ingredients.
Right. Right.
And so we developed ours to sort of have a really smooth onset and offset. So you will feel sustained and focused and energized, and it works with your body's natural rhythms.
Yeah, that's a concern of mine because like my energy already has a like a peak, as you see, very big morning person. I am a 6 a.m. get in the gym, right? But then as that 2 o'clock starts to creep, I can feel it going down, right? And
Yeah.
so if I go naturally, then I can control it a little better. But when I'm on medication and that crash hits, I'm out because
It's,
my ADHD brain has already been wired and I've been going high drive for this many hours. So now it's
yeah.
like closed off. I'm done.
Yeah.
Crash from
Yeah.
it. So I like the idea of being able to kind of not even realize it, but taper off and kind of come down slowly versus the hard crash after super focus. But you also said that you
It's,
have like balms and different things like that.
yeah, we have a balm for the body. So muscle soreness, aches and pains. It's it's one of our top selling products because I mean we have 5 products, but it is because it's unique and it's the only one that we have that's topical. So you apply directly on the skin to wherever you're feeling the pain. For example, my Pilates instructor this morning decided she was going to kill us. And I knew I was going to need to sit down. And sitting down was a challenge because my legs are shaky. And so this morning, I certainly put it on my muscles to make sure that I could have some movement. And it's great because it's not like it, boom, heals you. I would love to say, you're healed. It just makes things a little bit more tolerable. And it sort of, for me anyways, it prolongs the need for any like anti-inflammatory pills like ibuprofen or whatever because I am not a pure, I guess I am a purist. I really don't like to take things. And so if I can prolong
Me
it,
too.
then I will. So that's just, yeah, that's our balm. It's a really great product.
Something that kind of I guess I'm always throwing myself in there because I feel like I can speak for people. But like something like that, would that be good for? We're in the world now where we're a lot more glued to devices, we're glued to screens, where we used to be up and talking. Now we're doing a lot of this. So our neck starts to get right, with something where ads for even chiropractors would be more so for the older people, back in the days. Now, everyone, even teenagers are getting neck problems because they're holding it down. Like, is that something that could give relief from that? If I'm just like, man, you know
Yeah.
what? I was doing a little, I
Yeah.
focused too much and my neck's a little stiff.
All the things. Yeah, for sure. You could directly put it on the back of the neck. Anywhere, listen, muscles, all the things. Now we included botanical essential oils. So sensitive areas, you want to be careful because there is a bit of menthol in it. But yeah, you can apply it everywhere.
Got it. Okay. So we have the focus, we have the balm, and what are the other ones?
Oh, our
Sizzle
sleep. Yep.
and sleep.
And our drops of joy.
And what is the drops of joy? Is that more for
So,
like I'm watching a good show and I just want to laugh a little harder?
the thing, I will say this. Oh, and let me back up. I want to say, and the drops of joy is for just bringing joy and making life a little bit sweeter. It's not going to get you high. You're not going to be buzzed to the moon. It's just makes you slow down and really appreciate things in a very gentle way. I think that in professional and corporate world, especially as you talk to people, that one of the biggest elements, no matter what products you have, what you use and how you treat your body, is being aware of like the number one issue, right? Sleep deprivation, which all of us seem to deprive ourselves of sleep, which is
Yeah.
so important because emotion, like everything's off. If you're tired, you're emotional, the world is ending, shit seems harder, and it can be a challenge. But also drinking water and staying hydrated, very important. I want to share that because I have found at this age, and I've always been a big advocate for drinking water, but that most people are dehydrated. So they're always out there looking for a solution while they have their Diet Coke or, whatever in hand, maybe not taking a first step that they can take that is free. And not that
Mhm.
I'm saying I don't want people to buy my product. I do buy the products, but drink some water, go to
Yeah.
bed. I mean, at this point, everything's on demand. You're not going to miss your stories. So anyways, yes. So we have 5 products and they are all, and when you go to the website, you can see they are beautifully colored and arranged in relative to night and day. So we have your focus, your chill, your sleep, our drops of joy, and your balm, which is the one that's topical.
So what would you say to, like, let's say somebody's starting to listen to this and they're like, you know what, man, I would love something where it's not, you know, filled with big pharma's loading up stuff that can help me with my sleep or maybe help me with my pain and different things like that. All I've heard is stigma, stigma, stigma for the past 30 years. And I don't know what to believe. What do you say to that person when that's like ready to start their research journey, but is a little concerned with if it's real or if it's wrong or, should I or should I not? How should they go about educating themselves?
Honestly, before it was Google, right? People would go into Google and search. Now we're in a day and age where we have these excellent AI assistants that can really help us and scrape the entire internet and bring you all the things, the information that you need. I will say, and that's a great place to start. Y- there is a lot of brands out there, and we call it the Wild West because everybody wanted to get to market and quick and dirty. Let's get it out there, and maybe didn't take the time to sort of research. It's like, oh, I found a lab. Let's go with them instead of, okay, well, this lab does this one sources from here, this one sources from there. I guess my suggestion would be, I mean, utilizing your resources. So whether that is an AI or a Google or um, to be able to pull the information in and around what you are looking for as an individual, because everybody's not looking for the same thing. And if with the way that, for example, Claude works, it can pull the reviews as well. So you'll be able to see exactly without having to go to multiple sites, be able to see what is going to perform and what the reviews are. And it's just using simple prompts. So
I
that would be
love
my
that. I love that. That is awesome. Okay, so those are the problems. What's the future look like? Is it more stay focused in this zone, scale, build, maybe enter different markets, or are you adding on more? What is like I guess the 3 to 5 years for you guys?
You want me to spill it? No,
Just a little
I
bit, just a little bit.
Yeah, no, listen, we're a wellness focused company. So for us, it is about finding additional products that and creating additional products that are going to support people in their journeys. It could be a gentler sleep version, but all of them will be inclusive of some sort of beneficial ingredient for you. So I think there's a lot of really cool products on the market. There's a lot of brands that we sell against. I don't think about selling against because I think everybody can win. There's
Yeah.
people, some people are focused on that. My husband, we are focused on health and wellness. And so we will probably continue to develop more products along that line. The plan is to continue to scale and scale into areas where we can make the product accessible. And we're doing it, which is crazy, by utilizing 30 different AI agents to grow the business. And it is working. And so we're pretty excited about it.
That's awesome. Are you more of a business? Like, I love AI, I love tech, but then outside of it, you don't really do it, or do you like how? What do you like to do with, I guess, the AI and stuff outside of work? Do you ever really leverage it in your own personal life?
Oh, that's interesting. I, I haven't ever really thought about that. I think I do use it for business. In my personal life, not so much. I think because we tend to put things away when the kids are around,
Mm.
because I know I have limited time with the older two daughters, and the 3-year-old is the queen of the house. And so I don't really get to have my phone very close. But I guess do use it here and there. Like I was looking for soccer teams for the baby to join
Nice.
with reviews. Like, I mean, simple stuff, but I mean, I think we've harnessed and stepped into a whole other side where I'm not staying up to 2 in the morning coding because something's wrong with
Yeah.
the help button on our website. Uh, it's definitely freed up time for me to focus on other things and continuing to scale the business. But yeah, I guess I don't really use it. I haven't even thought about that. I don't. I mean, occasionally, like I'll be like, "Hey, the doctor said this." Like, I will say this: I will use it for blood tests because I'm not a medical professional. And while my heart doctor or whomever else thinks I'm pretty cool, they don't want to spend 4 hours going through my blood tests, but I can get some relative information. So, I mean, yeah, I guess I do here and there. Yeah.
All right. So, what do you like to do outside of work? What is it that keeps you going? Because you got to have that good work-life balance so that you can go hard in the business. So, what is the things that you do that keeps you upbeat and going?
So we are huge in our community. We live in Atlanta and we actually live on what's called the Atlanta Beltline, which is a walking path that takes you through the city. What's really special about that is you walk everywhere. And it's really cool because we own the company that we do and we're primarily e-com. You're right. We have to step away and we're in the works of developing three other companies. So we have to step away and live, and we choose to live and be present where we are. So simple walks through the city, watching the watching the baby play in the playground. But really, for me personally, it's hitting that Pilates class. Like I genuinely enjoy fitness. So in a day, it's likely I've hit 2 classes because it's a hobby. And I want to discover new things. I want to experience them and know them. Even if I'm the oldest one in the room with all them hot ladies, I'm like, all right, I'm going to do this. I'm not in my 20s, but we're going to try it. So yeah, I mean, it's really about slowing down. My husband and I spent some time in Greece in 2021. One of the things that we really enjoyed was being present with each other, taking time to walk and actually talk because it forces you to engage, but also be grateful for your surrounding. And
Yes.
so it doesn't really matter where we are. We always make sure to carry that with us because we both are very busy in our business and work life because, like I said, we're developing a whole bunch of companies, but we also have roles outside of that. So it's really important for us to do that. And listen, I will say this. Sometimes I just want to kick back and have a couple beers at the bar. I'm not going to say I'm like this holistic guru and I don't do it. I do all those. I've been known to pull up and have a quick shot of tequila, but I also know what my limits are at this stage and what our focus and our goals are in driving towards living as long as we possibly can and
Yes.
developing some cool things.
Yes. That is awesome. And I like how you talked about like being grateful. I think in a world where we do need to be aware of what's going on, but we also need to be aware that the media is weaponizing it for us to be sad all the time. And the more that we're sad, the less community we have, the less connections we have because we're just sad and we don't want to pour our sadness on other people. But when you start to be grateful, even of the little things, it does start to pick you up. And you start to realize you can you can be happy while also understanding that there's other things going wrong and we can help to fix it, but we don't have to be, depressed and miserable about it. So I like that gratitude. I love,
Yeah.
you being grateful for little things every day, as you're going through life. So that's awesome.
I have to say, I want to say one more thing and then I promise I'll let you wrap. I can tell Tavius, you and I could talk for hours.
We
I,
can, we really can. Because I had to keep
I,
myself from like two topics when we were
I know,
talking
say,
about the tinctures.
let's go. No, I'm joking. Let's not go. I, I was watching the Trevor Noah special, the comedy
Mhm.
special on Netflix.
I love
On
Trevor
Netflix.
Noah, yeah.
Hilarious, hilarious. But one of the things was really interesting is that he was talking about how somebody was pissed about a post because they were trying to have joy and gratitude and like, look at me with my new house, blah, 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 right? And they're like, that's so insensitive. There's a war happening.
Yeah.
Children have died, like all of these things. And he said both things can be true. And you should allow yourself the joy, but
Mhm.
also being aware of what's taking place in the world and our ability to make changes and to really support the world. And however, wherever, whatever your views are, I think that's very true because the truth is there are things happening in the world that are horrible and horrific and that have happened. But I also don't want to miss a moment of my children growing up. I
Mhm.
also have to take a moment to celebrate my daughter who's taking her robotics team to Worlds.
Mhm.
Like
Yes.
and be proud of it and be celebratory about it and just really enjoy it because I think we sometimes almost feel this guilt and this weight and you're right. And the way that the media can make us feel a little oppressed, that there is joy and light in the world. And I think that
Yes.
we can certainly remember you can still have a peace and still celebrate and celebrate yourself, your company, whatever it is you do, getting new merchant fees, which I'm real excited about, and still be aware and conscious of how you can contribute to making things better.
Awesome.
Yeah.
See, I love that insight. I love that point of view. And yes, I think that's the perfect point to start wrapping up. Just to on
Okay.
that note, I think that was awesome. And yeah, I will keep going because I'm already in my mind. I'm like, we got to do another one at the beginning of the year, like a New Year's sprint where we could just chat, where people can know how they can, let's go in the new year with good vibes and energy, right? That kind of
Yeah.
thing. I think would be awesome. But we like I said, we're going to be in for the people. Maybe they are starting to research, and maybe they want to ask you a couple of questions, reach out to you with your type of knowledge and the fact that you're are judgmental, and like you said, you feel like every one of us, right? You're not like super guru. I eat fruits and vegetables and nothing else. But you're also not like, hey, I'm a bro and I'm getting drunk every weekend. So people might want to ask you a couple questions and then maybe
Was.
ask
No.
you which one they should start with. So how can they reach out to you and get in touch with you or even purchase your products?
By all means, please feel free to reach out to me via email, Rebecca@yourmom.com. It is URMAWM.com. That's right. My company's name is Your Mom. The website is yourmom.com. So URMAWM.com. The name Your Mom came from me messing with my teenagers about your mom went to college and they're like smart kids. And they're like, you went to college, your mom's not funny, whatever. But yes, yourmom.com. And again, Rebecca. So I'm happy to answer any questions or somebody wants me to discuss something further. I'm happy and I'm definitely open for a conversation.
Awesome. Thank you so much. We'll make sure we put that in the bio so people that can click on it. And also, to anybody who knows that reference, I got a gift for you. If you know the reference of your mom went to college, in the comments, I got a gift for you. Just leave your email with me too. I think that'll be fun. Let's see if anybody else gets it. I'm not going to spill the beans on where it's from, but man, I want to laugh so hard and make other references, but I'm going to keep that under wraps. So thank you so much again, Rebecca, for coming on here. I know when we first chatted, you were a little like, hey, I don't know if your audience will like it. And I'm like, man, I think our audience would love it. I do think this was fun. It was informative. It gave insight. It gave practical knowledge. These are the types of ones that people can transcribe using AI and kind of get little nuggets from and start their research journey too, just from being able to listen in on this. So thank you so much for coming on here again and spreading this knowledge.
Thank you for having me. It was great chatting with you, Tavius, and thank you so much for everything.
You are welcome. And thank you all for tuning in to another episode. Hopefully I provided some excitement. This was really good. It's so much fun. And if you have an interesting business like Rebecca and you want to be on the podcast too, just send me an email or give me a call at Tavius at fixmyfeesteam.com. Other than that, like and subscribe and good night.